When you're in the mood for some
want...
propaganda.
Yeah, there you go.
Not me. Oh my god, not me.
There you go.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to LoveCast, the BL podcast. I am your host, Alexa, and with me are my fellow hosts, Kayla and Heather.
Hey.
Hi.
So poor Pixie is fighting illness right now, so Heather is stepping in to join us for this episode. It's going to be a bit of a off-the-cuff one. So we have like a general idea of, basically we're doing this idea of what to watch when blank, blank, blank. So what to watch when you're looking for a certain mood or certain trope or something like that. And then we all have recommendations that we've kind of come up with or will be coming up with to go with whatever theme we're going with for that particular roundabout. So yeah, we're just going to kind of wing it and see how it goes, like we always do. That's what we're good at.
I think it's been a while since we've like properly winged it.
Wung it. I've never heard that before.
We did an unscripted episode, but I guess it's kind of different than winging it for a technically scripted episode. I mean, none of our episodes are scripted, but
usually we have like an outline, but we don't even have an outline. Least. We didn't even have an intro written.
Nope. This is what happens when you have 3 different time zones and daylight savings to work around and nobody's awake at the same time. So you can't plan anything.
Seriously.
Right.
But we make it work.
Always. You think we'd be like pros by now trying to deal around time zones, but
no.
Never gets easier.
I don't think we ever will be. Well, all right. So I guess we can start with Heather had a couple suggestion ones that she threw when she kind of was throwing the idea out there. So I feel like we can start with those since we already have them written out and then go from there. Okay, am I reading the prompts too?
I can read the prompts that I threw out. I threw out prompts. I did not exactly have shows in mind, so I'm gonna have to formulate shows
not
whilst we're talking.
Prepared to be.
I wasn't prepared to be on the episode. So yeah, cool. All right. So the first prompt that I had of shows to watch when was a show to watch when you want to be comforted.
Okay, are we just giving one for each category? Because I have a couple for this one.
All right, how about we do
shows? How about we go to watch when you want to be comforted?
Shows. Let's go shows. All right, so shows to watch when you want to be comforted. Alexa, do you want to go first?
Okay. So the first one I thought of is one that's actually airing right now, so hopefully I'm not jumping the gun on it. But I thought of the Japanese BLR dining table. It's literally just like, right now, comfort personified. It's giving like this really good depiction of how food is a love language and how, you can find a family in the most unexpected places. So like it's basically about this guy who has a trauma around eating around other people from his childhood. And he comes across this younger boy and his older brother. And he kind of gets tangled up in them and he ends up like teaching them how to cook basically and like preparing these different meals with them. And he's like healing his trauma and he's also like healing a trauma that they have gone through. And of course there's like a romance between the main character and the older brother, which is like very soft and low key. So the whole thing just feels very comforting. Like every episode kind of has a food theme or like the most recent one was like making lunch bentos. Like that was kind of the theme of the episode and it's just really sweet. And there's a really cute little like kid that plays the younger brother and he's just like absolutely adorable and it's just like wholesome content. So it's been my comfort watch of the past couple weeks and I can only imagine that Like, I can't imagine it being a show where they're going to bring like some intense drama out of nowhere. So I feel like I felt safe putting it on the list, even though it's not completed yet. Yeah, that was my first one.
That makes me want to watch it. I haven't
really
I haven't
cute so
started
far.
that one, so
It's really often, it's literally like, I can only think of the words wholesome and soft to describe it. So it's like perfect for this prompt.
Oh, yeah.
sweet.
I want to watch it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. By you, Kayla. What's one of yours?
So when I think comfort shows, my brain goes off two different ways, because there is the type of comfort show that Alexa mentioned, where it's just like very upbeat, kind of like a distraction. Nothing really like super intense or serious happens. So there's that kind of comfort show. And then I feel like there's also the kind of comfort show where maybe there are like heavier themes in it, but it's comforting to you because you resonate with it. And like through watching it, you feel like more understood. So I had like both of those.
Yeah.
Some for both of those lines going in. Of course, I feel like anyone could guess what my first one is. It's Cutie Pie. This is like I mean, we talked about it so much before. It's one of those shows that are pretty simple. Like, you can look beyond surface level with it if you want, but you don't necessarily have to. Like, you're not going to miss much if you are just like watching it to watch it. Maybe even like watching it in the background when you're doing something. I feel like it is a good distraction. So you can just like put it on and like watch all these cute moments play out, and there's not really any consequence to it. It's just like, I feel like it's like BL at its core, just kind of like there in like a fantasy realm where you can just watch cute moments between people, and it's very like romantic and funny, and just like there's just like nothing too serious about it. So of course I'm always going to bring up Cutie Pie as a suggestion. I'll find any way.
Sounds on agenda.
Cutie Pie is always in the mix with Kayla.
Yes, it's my personality.
That's so true, though. Like, I do think that Cutie Pie is also a bit of a comfort show for me, because it's, so I say this very lovingly, but it is predictable. And there's something comforting about the predictability of the show. You kind of know where it is going to go, and like, even there are a couple of little moments that probably aren't like technically predictable, but I feel like the show overall, you know nothing super intense is going to happen. They're not going to throw in a sudden death. They're not going to like do anything that takes away the comfort of it. And so yeah, I do feel like it's a bit of a comfort show for me as well.
Yeah. I'm always a strong advocate of like something being predictable and cliche doesn't make it bad. Like, it can still be good media and fun media to watch while still like knowing what's going to happen or how the story's going to play out. And I think Cutie Pie definitely falls into that category.
No, agreed. All right. Should I see if I've got I'm trying to think comfort show wise. I've got a couple of ideas. When I think of comfort show though, I think of, because it's so personal. Like a comfort show or a show, I think a comfort show and a show to watch to be comforted are a bit different. But when I think of a comfort show, I think it's so personal to you. So if I was to give a recommendation of a show to be comforted by, I would have to know what comforts people.
Yeah.
So
it's a hard thing to figure out.
So for me, I guess I've kind of got to lean on the what would make me feel comforted. What's something that I watch time and again. I'll search out clips from it, or I'll go and I'll watch an episode just completely out of chronological order because I know that episode makes me feel good or anything like that. And for me, that's semantic error. Yeah, I go back to that show so regularly, and I watch clips from that show so regularly. Every time it comes up on my For You, I stop and I watch whatever clip is on my For You. Sometimes I'll like flick through, I've got a couple of photo cards, and so I'll flick to the photo cards and just look at them and then have the urge to then watch the show again. Like, it's such a show that makes me feel good, makes me feel comforted, and when I'm not feeling well, however that may be, I just want to see something that makes me happy. I want to watch something that makes me happy, and that show, for me, does that. Like, there's nothing, it's one of the ones that, like, I think people had a bit of a, people thought it was predictable, like, and they thought that, like, I saw some stuff online about how, like, predictable it was, even though people were, like, yelling and screaming about it while it was happening. There were people saying that it was super predictable, or it was kind of boring because nothing really happened. But I love that. And I disagree, but I love that. I love that, like, that we got this show that you can follow along. There's no massive twists or turns, and you can see a little bit like Cutie Pie. You can watch it for some of the cute moments, the sweet moments, the romantic moments. There's lots of little things within it as well. I like picking up, like, the little things, where little things like when one of the leads says that they don't like to be touched all the time, so then the other lead doesn't touch them but, like, might hold their bag or might ask to touch them. Like, little things like that are sweet, and that comforts me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would have to throw Semantic Error into the ring.
Pretends to be shocked.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like it's
Semantic
not...
Error. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that round was not shocking, although, like,
you're predictable.
Alexa did it. Like, I do have some others that I would say are comforting for me, but probably aren't exactly a comforting show, but I'll say that next.
Yeah. Are we going for more? Because
yeah, let's do some more
next
comforting.
one I had was very predictable because it's my school president.
Oh,
Alexa, that was my next one. You took it from me.
I think I found a way to bring this show up in, like, every episode that we've recorded since it has finished airing. But for me, this one is, like, exactly what you were saying about Semantic Error. Like, I don't rewatch shows in their entirety. Like, that's just not something I'll do. I'll go and watch clips or something like that, or seek out scenes or specific episodes, and I've done that already multiple times with My School President. But this is, like, one of the only shows I have the urge to go back and just, like, rewatch from the beginning, because, like, there's just, like, every single episode just, like, brought me so much joy. And I do think it kind of falls into the category of, like, a show that's comforting for me personally, and something I can see being comfortable for the general population as well. But like you said, of course, it's different for everyone. But I just, like, I don't know what else I can say about it that I haven't already said across, like, various episodes. But, like, it hasn't ended for that long, so, like, maybe it won't have that longevity for me. But, like, at this point in time, I can't see it, like, not being as high on my list of comforting and loved shows as it is right now. So yeah, it's definitely up there for me.
Yeah. It's funny because I put it on my list in the opposite way of I feel like it could be comforting for others, but isn't, like, super, super comforting for me personally. But I mean, for all the same reasons. Like, it's probably the cutest show ever. One of my favorite things is I go on my YouTube, on my TV, and it makes, like, playlists of music videos for you, depending on what you, like, watched and listened to. I just did this today. I always listen to the My School President one that YouTube just, like, automatically makes. So, like, I feel like the music and how involved it is in the show is a big pull for me because I just love music so much and all the songs in the show are so good. So I find like the musical aspect comforting also, because it's like something you could take from outside of the show and just like listen to, but not necessarily watch the show. And then Alexa, I'm pretty sure you mentioned this when we did our deep dive, but I really like about the show how all the conflicts are resolved in the same episode. And I feel like that makes it a really comforting show, because it doesn't make it like predictable, but it's like, you know that nothing is going to drag out and be this really dramatic thing, which I feel like is comforting. It gets rid of like a lot of the anxiety of watching shows and not really knowing what's going to happen. So yeah, I think that My School President is honestly might be like number one most comforting show I would recommend right now.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
No, I also agree. Okay, voice. I'm similar with you, Kayla, in that the music also brings me a level of comfort, because like music is my life. I always have music's always playing for whatever mood I'm in. And I find that the music from My School President is like, it's comforting in a way that, one, it's really good. So like, I don't know if that's comforting, it's just good. But two, like the actual comforting, it brings back certain memories of the show. And because the show is such a sweet, comforting show, that music really helps to keep that that feeling alive.
Yeah.
And I think all together, like the music and the show and even Gemforth themselves are so comforting as people and as a pairing and as an acting couple. Like they're such sweet children. And they're so comforting in the way that they're gentle with each other, even when they're being little brats,
like roughhousing.
Like, exactly. They're still gentle with each other in a way that's like really sweet to see and really lovely to see, and I find comfort from that as well. Plus everyone else, I feel like all the other actors in that series bring me a bit of comfort, and I don't know if it's because like it's the show and the characters, or if the actors themselves are just such nice people that you just you can't help but feel that sweet connection, that comforting sort of connection with them. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, there was a period where I was I like made a playlist of the songs on Spotify, and there was a period where I listened to it at least twice a day, if not more. And it went down to like listening to it at least once a day, usually like on my commute to and from work. And now like I don't listen to it every day, but like I'll get to it, it'll be a couple days and I'm like, I haven't listened to the My School President soundtrack in a while, and I'll just like put it on and let it play in order. And like it has to happen like every once in a while for me to feel like fulfilled as a person. Yeah,
I feel that.
Do you want to go next, Kayla? Or did you say that? Who's
well, my next
was
one
also
was
My School President.
President.
Yeah,
but I do have other ones. I don't know if you want to go first.
Well, I've got one that kind of goes off of like the music kind of bringing comfort. Yeah. Like the show type of thing. Yeah, all right. So for me, like, so when you're talking about My School President brings you comfort, the music from the show then like extends that comfort, and then the actors themselves extend that comfort even further. What comes to mind for me, which is probably not a comfort show for a lot of people, and is not going to come as a surprise, let's be real, but it's and I Promised You the Moon. So I Told Sunset About You and I Promised You the Moon are comfort shows for me. And when I say that it's a comfort show, I don't mean that it always gives me like the warm and fuzzy feelings. It's a show that I come back to quite regularly when I'm feeling a little off kilter with my life, and I'll watch certain scenes, or I'll listen to the soundtrack, or I'll watch little clips of Bilkit and PP, and I'll feel that my whatever's stressing me out, whatever's making me feel off kilter, overwhelmed, it kind of brings it back down, and it allows me to really focus on the feelings that show gives me. And I find comfort in that, comfort in being able to, I guess, recognize the feelings. So if I'm watching a scene that I know broke me, like, first time round, watching it again, I'm feeling that, like, that sadness, I'm feeling connected with the characters, but it brings comfort that I know that I'm feeling that because of that show, and so then it allows my thoughts to kind of settle, and I can deal with stuff
Whatever's
afterwards.
going on.
Yeah, and so I feel like that show, in an odd way, brings me comfort. It's not a show I'd recommend for people as a comfort show, but it is a show that brings me comfort.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I definitely had a couple that were, like, not necessarily comforting in general, but, like, you take comfort from it personally, whether it was, like, when it aired at a certain period of your life, or, like you said, kind of using it to rebalance when you're feeling off kilter, because it helps you hone in your thoughts about whatever's going on. So yeah, it's definitely a good example of, like, something that is individualized for each different person.
Definitely. But yeah, did you want to go with your others, Kayla? The others that you had after My School President?
So, these are the ones where I feel like they are more along the lines of, like, watching it to reset your brain, kind of. So not necessarily shows that are, like, happy, peppy, or, like, stuff like that, but shows that I have watched again because I feel like they're comforting. So I think I'm gonna combine some of these. I had Until We Meet Again.
Yeah, that was one.
And I had too. He's Coming to Me.
That's one I also thought.
And I also have Tale of a Thousand Stars.
I was gonna say that one.
So Until We Meet Again and He's Coming to Me, I feel like they're along the same lines with they deal with, like, heavy topics surrounding, like, I guess, death and soulmates and, like, the afterlife and stuff. But something about just, like, the emotion in the show, and especially in Until We Meet Again, I think Ohm and Fluke, like, they really bring out the emotion that is needed to play those roles and those characters who are going through the things that they are. And I just feel like it's really easy to connect with them. And through that, it's like whatever you're personally going through, you can kind of, like, maybe even cry it out. Like, it doesn't even have to be, like, necessarily related in some way to what's going on. It's just like, you could watch it if you need to cry.
Like cathartic release.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I feel the same way about He's Coming to Me also. And another thing that I think both of these shows have is nostalgia. Because if you did watch the shows when they first aired and you watch them again, there's just so much nostalgia attached to it. And I feel like especially since the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of people have been going back to watch things that brought them comfort before, and just have been revisiting a lot of old things, old interests, old, like, shows and all that stuff. So I feel like those are two really good shows to revisit when you're just kind of, like, going through it. And like you said, you want to watch something that could be cathartic. But the reason why I put Tale of Thousand Stars is because and I think I said this before in our Earth Mix deep dive, history of, something like that. But Earth and Mix just have, like, this warm energy that I can't even describe in any other way. And it comes through in, like, every single show that they're in. So, like, Tale of a Thousand Stars, I just feel like there's such a warm feeling to it. And, like, the setting, it just feels so, like, hospitable and warm, and, like, aesthetically, it's really beautiful, and that could be comforting. Just, like, even if you think of it from the perspective of Tien, like his character going from the city where it's just like really fast paced and he has all this trauma there, and then he's going to the countryside and it's more like relaxed. It just like you get those feelings through it. You kind of are like living through his character. And the other villagers who live in this really like slow paced, close knit place. And yeah, that has the nostalgic factor too, if you watch that when it first aired. But that one, I would say, could be more universally comforting than the other two, just because there's something about Earth and Mix that they just comfort. Like, yeah, they just exude comfort. Like literally they do. And I don't know what it is, but yeah. Those are the other ones I had for comfort shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good list.
I agree. I agree about the Earth Mix providing comfort and exuding that level of comfort. I love them. I'm not going to go on it. I would go on a tangent about how much I love them, but I'm not going to. I was going to say, I so agree. Like, they're good dudes. And they're just so nice and comforting and sweet. And yeah.
I feel like comfort pairings and people in BL could be like a whole other topic in and of itself.
Ooh, yeah. True.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's like our next topic for when we run out of time to figure out an episode. Do you have any other comfort shows that you want to throw in, Alexa?
Yeah, the only other one I was thinking of was Until We Meet Again. Kind of for similar reasons that Kayla mentioned. Just like it's tied to a very specific point in my life. And it helped me like process a lot of emotions around that, which I talked about in the episode we did with Edison in DC. But like it went on air like a couple months after my dad died. And so like dealing with like the grief and like death that was going throughout that show, like kind of was like a way to process. Not like therapy is important, friends, like also go to therapy. But it was a way to help me kind of start processing those emotions, especially like moving into the early stages of the pandemic when like you couldn't go out and do things like therapy necessarily. So yeah, long story short, that's how I kind of like gained comfort from it and why it sits so high on my list of like favorite BLs.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Like we were saying before, comfort shows, like if we're going to talk comfort shows, they are so deeply personal. Yeah. I think my last couple that I want to throw into the ring for this topic, the comfort show topic, or shows that bring you comfort or shows to watch when you want to be comforted, I would say, so I'm probably just going to list them. I have one in my brain, but I'm sure others will kind of come out as I talk. But Cherry Magic, we say it all the time. We yell and scream about this show all over this podcast. But if you want to watch a show to be comforted, watch Cherry Magic. You're literally watching two very sweet, respectful people fall in love and show their love in sweet and respectful ways. And so I feel like it's a show that, for me, when I guess you want to be comforted, you want to watch something that, like we've said previously, doesn't have the twists and turns, doesn't have anything that could potentially trigger trauma. You just want to watch something that's slow-paced, something that gives you the warm, fuzzy feelings. And for me, I would say Cherry Magic is definitely up there. I also would say Kieta Hatsukoi is a sweet kind of show.
I was thinking of a lot of those like Japanese BLs.
Those
in that
type
sort
of Japanese
vein.
BLs. I 100% would. If someone that's my recommendation actually. If you want a show to be like to comfort you, go watch those sweet Japanese BLs. So Cherry Magic, Kieta Hatsukoi, My Love Mix-Up even, I would say. Wait, is that Kieta Hatsukoi?
That's
What's
Kieta
the other one?
Hatsukoi.
Not My Love Mix-Up. What's the other one?
Takara-kun, Tuamagi-kun is
That one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of
I
like
would say
school, like sweet,
like
soft
school
love.
and office romance type of shows. Yeah. I would say that's probably my main recommendation for a show to watch when you want to be comforted. Those specific types of Japanese BLs.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Oh, okay. Do we want to go with the next topic or do we want to leave that one afterwards and skip and go to the one after that?
I think either.
All right, let's just lean into it.
Yeah,
we went
go for
comfort.
it.
We went sweet. Now we're talking spice. Shows to watch when you just want spice.
Am
Who
I
wants to
leading
go
off
first?
again?
Yeah,
I can
Alexa,
go again.
you go.
I'm gonna speed run through my reasoning a little bit because I feel like we took a long time on shows that
I
bring us
feel like we
comfort.
need to. I don't think we need to expand on the spice theme. You literally just drop the
Just
show,
list 'em.
give a level out of 5 chilies, and move on.
So the one I thought of, which I thought was, I feel like there's some obvious picks there. So I went with one that I thought was like a little not off the beaten path, but a little bit older. And I'm going to say Together With Me because, first of all, I don't think the plot really has anything to offer. Like, I think the main reason people tune into that show is for the spice and for the Max Tool chemistry. And I'm saying that as a Max Tool stan. So, like, I've talked about how I feel about Together With Me before. But yeah, I feel like just as an older show and kind of being one of the first to, like, really tap into, like, the spicy side of what Thai BL can be, I think I would recommend Together With Me. And if I have to give it a rating out of chilies, I would give it like a solid 3.5 probably in that area. So yeah,
Decent.
that's all I need to say. Yeah.
Kayla, what's your first spicy BL rec?
Well, I had 2. This first one, I feel like we need to hold down the fort for Pixie since she's not here and mention Love in the Air.
That's the most obvious one I thought of. Yeah.
Self-explanatory. Boss and Noel specifically, their chemistry is insane, and I love that the show doesn't shy away from showcasing that at any given point. A lot of it, I feel like, does fall under porn without plot. But at the same time, I understand a lot of the characters' underlying emotions.
Yeah.
But still, like, it's a meme show, so it's kind of like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the first one.
Chemistry.
5 out of 5 chilies right there.
6 out of 5 chilies. Like, it gets...
Yeah, 6 out of 5 chilies.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on there.
And it's like, it's sexy spice. Like, if we're talking, it's not just spice. So it is like a what to watch when you want spice. It's definitely in that. But it's like, it's a sexy spice.
It gets to the point where you're like, there are certain scenes where you're like, do I feel okay watching this? Like, that level of spice. You're like, I should not be in the room right now. Like,
Literally.
There's one scene that I recently went back and watched, and it's whenever they are in the bathroom stall. Do you know which one I'm talking about? Even scenes like that aren't necessarily like bed scenes, but are still like very tense. That, like, they do that really well. So that is honestly a big reason why I'm like, go watch that if you want spice, because like the stuff leading up to it is also very spicy.
It's just tension throughout the whole thing.
Very intimate tension.
It's
and
sexy
it's that
tension,
intimacy and the chemistry that sells the crap out of that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So talking like porn without plot, I will fight to the death about this show. I don't care. But why are you?
Listen, why are you entertaining?
I loved that show, and if you just want spice, it's also a show that I would chuck into this this category, because literally the last half of the show is I'm not going to be crude.
Sex at
Literally,
the beach.
last half of the show is them getting it on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, episodes of it. But, like, I don't know. There's just something about the show, something about Z and Saint. I know the show basically became them because of issues, but, like, it's a fun show to watch with a crap ton of spice.
Yeah.
However, the spice, I would give it, like, a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give it a full 5, and it's definitely not Love in the Air.
It's not lovely. That's the bar. I don't know if anything is going to top that, honestly.
No, I have one that could top it.
Oh,
Okay.
The Novelist / Mood Indigo.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. We get into that side of, like, Japanese BL. Then.
See, I actually...
What was that one that just
disagree.
aired? The End of the World with the
you?
Japanese one that just aired. That one was pretty spicy, too. I don't know if it's at that level, but
Nah.
that's, like, that sect of Japanese BL. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I agree and disagree, actually, with Kayla on this. Because I agree that it's got the spice, but I don't think it's spicier than Love in the Air.
You know what it is? I think it's the fandom involvement.
Okay.
Because with the Novelist, it's like I said before, like you're watching it so isolated from everything else, and they don't really have an industry where they do fan servicey stuff. But with Love in the Air, I feel like Boss and Noel as like a pairing really bring in the spice to the show.
Yeah, actually, no, I agree with you on that. Yeah. Do we have any other spicy recommendations?
I'm trying to, like,
Couldn't
think
think
of
of
because
any.
I literally had not Man or Death, Together with Me and Love in the Air were, like, my two picks that I had. And those are, like, the two that came to mind when we said spice, so...
I think Ghost House.
Actually, yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yo.
That's a pretty good one.
That one extended scene.
Episode 4, yeah, that was, like, kind of wild.
That was I'm watching through, like, my fingers and potentially should just close my computer and not watch any further type of chemistry and spice.
One of my favorite parts in that show is whenever he flies back to Thailand after being home and the first thing they do is fuck. Like, what?
Yep. But, like, that's so relatable, not gonna lie.
Exactly.
Like, you haven't seen your partner for a long time. What is the first thing you're going to do?
We don't need to work out our issues. We need to fuck is what we need to do immediately.
I mean, they're a lot healthier than other
honestly.
couples in other shows, so
honestly.
it's
definitely. I would say...
I do agree with that.
Oh my god, I had another... Oh, I would also say, kind of going back to Mame, Don't Say No has some spicy moments. Yeah.
See, but it got annoying because it was like...
So you just watch it for the spice?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you're looking for something that only has spice to offer, that's right
honestly,
there.
don't... If you want to watch that one just for spice, just skip through it until you get to those parts.
Yeah.
Because...
Oh, yeah, no, sorry, you talk. But that was me just thinking, not having something
the
to say.
story is not there, so...
The story is not storying.
It's not there.
The story is not storying. Poor Jared first. Like, they're such sweet
I just think
people.
that they...
I know.
That them as actors, like, I couldn't buy them in those type of roles. And, like, they were doing they were doing their best. But I think especially God bless his soul. I was just like, he seems so like he seems like a teddy bear. And so, like, I was having trouble, like, picturing him getting into these, like, really spicy scenes. And so I think, like, when they kept happening, that's kind of what, like, took me out of them towards, like, the second half of the show. But, like, they definitely, like, I mean, they went there with, like, the whole vibrator scene and everything like that. Like, they definitely, like, I can't think of any I mean, Light of Me had like a dildo in there, like for sex education purposes. But there's not many BLs out there that I can think that have incorporated like sex toys in any way or anything like that. So they definitely set a bar in that manner.
Oh, I don't know why that made me think of this, but along the lines of shows, it's not when you just want spice, but it's got a lot of moments that are spicy, and intimate spicy, and I would say like Secret Crush on You.
I was thinking of that one.
Some of
Oh
those
my gosh.
kisses,
How didn't I think of that?
like, yeah. So it's not exactly a show that you watch when you just want spice, because it's got so much else to offer. But if you want a show that's got like good chemistry, good kisses, people who actually look like they want to fuck,
Yeah.
Secret Crush on You.
Yeah. I feel like that's a pretty comprehensive list of like the spiciest BLs out there.
And then like that whole other side of Japanese BL as well.
Yeah, that's like a whole other like soft porn. Like there are porn actors in some of those Japanese BLs. Yeah,
true.
some like the movies and stuff like that have adult video actors in them and such. So
yeah,
that's how you know the route that they're going with them.
Yeah,
a lot of like the movies and stuff.
Yeah, true. I was gonna say, and then maybe like the last thing I probably would want to mention is an upcoming show that I just predict is going to be so full of spice, and that's Only Friends.
Yeah,
of course.
Of course. It better be based on what
like
they're
I
treating us
predict now.
that.
It's like, yeah, it's just going to be
one
so
big
full of
like
spice.
orgy, basically,
Spicy.
with everyone boinking each other. I don't know why I said boink. I
Hey,
don't know where that came
boinking.
from.
No, I love that. Boinking.
All right, well,
Switching
next-
gears again.
yeah, it's like the switching gears again. Moving on from spice, where it's like all contained in the one show, one bedroom, we're moving outside, and shows to watch when you want to see the beauty of Thailand. Mate, my segue skills.
Funny. Pretty good. Moving into the outdoors, going outside to touch some grass.
Alexa.
I feel like the obvious first pick for this is Tale of a Thousand Stars. Shot in the mountains in Thailand. They were like on location in like this village up in the mountains, and I think it was northern Thailand. And like, I mean, scenery at every shot, like the waterfalls, the forest that they were in, just like being out in the mountains as like your setting, like you're bound to see so much beauty and nature in there. And that was like a big theme of the show as well, kind of like what Kayla was saying, stepping away from the city where there's all this trauma and hurt that has happened into like a place that's kind of surrounded by nature and kind of forces you to let go of what's ever has been happening in the city. So yeah, I think that's like the most obvious first choice that comes to mind for places that let you see the beauty of Thailand.
Going along with the Earth Mix theme, Cupid's Last Wish.
Yeah.
100%. Because they go on a road trip, and throughout that road trip you get to see so many rural small towns that you wouldn't typically see, maybe even if you were traveling to Thailand yourself. And it's just like every time they stop somewhere, it feels so rich with culture and distinct to the area they're in. And of course, because a lot of the dramas occur in the city, it's really nice to see them out in the countryside just vibing.
Yeah.
Even when they're even when they're back at home, I mean, they live in the countryside. So seeing just like these expanses of land, or like even the tree that they sit under, the one that's shaped like a heart, like so pretty. Everything is so beautiful, and I think the directing helps to show that, the way that it's shot. But yeah, pretty much along the same line as Tale of a Thousand Stars. I think Cupid's Last Wish, if you want to see some really beautiful rural areas in Thailand, then it's a good show to watch.
Agreed. My my recommendation is not going to come as any surprise either, but it's back on I Told Sunset About You and I Promised You the Moon.
Yeah.
Like, specifically, I Told Sunset About You because it's just the way it's shot is like one big love letter to Thailand as well. The way they shoot the scenery of Chiang Mai and the beaches and even the little like town that they live in, the way that they shoot that show literally feels to me like a love letter to Thailand. It's beautiful and it shows. Is it Chiang Mai that they're in? Now I'm questioning myself.
Isn't it Phuket?
Phuket. Last Twilight in Phuket. It is cool. Yep, I know my geography. The way the way that they shoot it is beautiful, and they showcase like so many different places in Phuket that, like, I swear to God, I saw something about how that show actually increased tourism there a little bit because of just how beautifully it was shot, how it showed off the area, just like made people want to go and see Thailand and like see those areas in Thailand, not just because it's part of a BL, but because those areas are beautiful.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I just had a thought and I can't believe we didn't mention this. But this isn't even Beauty of Thailand. I'm going back a thing. Spice. Shows to watch when you want spice. Kin Porsche.
Oh, God.
Right,
Yeah, I guess so.
No,
Sorry, that was
that's
so
a big one.
completely... That was a jump. Did just completely ruin the flow. Apologies, but like, how did we not think of Kin Porsche?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's because I'm trying to block it from my head. I
All
spent
right,
too much
moving
time
on.
loving Kin Porsche. I need to...
We're moving on.
Move on. Okay.
He's in a new era.
Okay. All right. Kim Porsche, put in a box, locked, under the bed. Back to Beauty of Thailand.
I was going to say one that I feel like encompasses both of what you guys just said, Heather, and what you said of like it being a love letter to Thailand and the people of Thailand, and also taking it back to Earth Mix. I think Moonlight Chicken is just like,
I thought about that
I
one, too.
think it shows the beauty and realism of like everyday life in Thailand. And like, especially like, of course, like the neighborhood that they shot it in, and Pattaya, I think is the city. It's just like stunning with the lanterns and like the kind of like older kind of like Chinese influenced architecture and stuff like that. Like, it's just like a stunning neighborhood. And I think it was really shown off in like the earlier episodes, like the first episode specifically. But I think the whole show kind of was like a love letter to Thailand, and also a love letter to like the everyday people of Thailand, because we talk about how a lot of these shows focus on like rich university students who like live in their dorms and go out and party all the time and are always in clubs or at bars and like doing all this type of stuff. But I feel like the show is kind of focused on like the working class person and kind of showing like the beauty that's still in their life, and kind of like not writing them off as not having anything to offer as like beautiful or worthwhile. And so I think for that reason, Moonlight Chicken kind of fell into that category for me. Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I feel like GMMTV need to get Earth Mix like a tourism contract and
Seriously.
and get them to sell Thailand.
They can just
Like,
shoot the
in a
drama
touristy
in
way.
every city, and it'll be beautiful.
We've literally just said 3 shows that they're in to show the
Chiang
beauty
Mai,
of
Northern
Thailand.
Thailand, Pattaya, the countryside,
Right.
and Cupid's Last Wish. They can do it all.
Maybe that's their like secret little clause in their contracts with GMMTV that every show they're in needs to somehow showcase more of Thailand.
Yes.
They actually work for the government.
You're part of the,
They just infiltrated
the tourism
BL,
industry.
but they're
Thailand's
actually
tourism industry.
Yes. Any other shows that we want to mention that show the beauty of Thailand? Or do we want to mention any shows that show the beauty of other countries that they're made in?
Mm.
Oh.
Throwing a curveball. You weren't prepared for that one, huh?
Now I have to look at other countries on my list.
All right, let's go Korea. Is there any shows that kind of show Korea, like show areas of Korea that you think maybe not like show the beauty of the country, but maybe show the country in a way that makes you want to go see those areas?
When I think of the Korean
Go ahead,
BLs,
Kayla.
I literally think of them all just in the city in their apartment complexes, so I'm having trouble thinking
Right.
of
To My
One
Star
where they
2.
go outside of that.
Yeah, To My Star 2 was a good
To My
one.
Star 2 kind of shows a couple of
Like a
different
countryside.
areas.
But even though it wasn't the greatest plot-wise, Ocean likes me. Kind of like that beachfront setting. And also, like, I love beaches in the winter. So the fact that it was also, like, taking place during the winter and they were kind of always just, like, out on the beachfront. It was kind of like they didn't really go anywhere else besides the beachfront, but, like, it was still, like, a switch up in location from, like Kayla said, like, you typically just see, like, the apartment and, like, their office complex or whatever.
Yeah.
So Oceans Like Me kind of takes us out to the beach, the ocean, and kind of switches it up a little bit.
Yeah, fair. What about Japan?
maybe End of the World with You, because they're on the road trip and they end up stopping by, again, a lot of places that are in the countryside outside of Tokyo. So you get more of a feel of the geography, even though I still in my head, I was like, I couldn't like fathom just how far they were traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's one of the only ones I could think of where they venture outside of the usual settings.
There's a movie, a Japanese movie called Restart After Come Back Home. And like the whole premise is this guy is quitting his job in Japan and like returning to his home side in the country for the first time in like a whole however many years. And it kind of fits into like the comfort BL too, because it's kind of like about repairing his relationship with his father. But like he ends up working on like this farm while he's there. I think it's like an orange apple farm or something like that. And like that's how he meets the love interest kind of thing. But it's kind of like small town vibes. And kind of like taking them outside of Tokyo or the city area where a lot of the BLs take place.
Yeah, I feel like probably because Thai BL is that soft power, you get more of the like the touristy feel for some of the shots when they show Thailand, or like they really have in mind show the country a little bit more in some of the series, in some of the shows. So that's probably why we can come up with a lot more examples of beauty of Thailand.
Also, I think like thinking about Korea, I think like compared to like Thailand, there's definitely a budgetary aspect there. Like they're very limited in like where they can shoot and like what kind of places they can afford to do shoots, which is why we see a lot of them taking place in like 2 or 3 specific locations. Just
valid.
considering like budget and stuff like that, which I don't know if that would apply as much as to Japan. But I think that's definitely part of what plays into the limited range and location wise for Korean BLs.
Yeah. No, that's fair. All right. Secret
Kayla's
themes.
secret category.
Well, I actually have 2.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought of the other one like 10 minutes before we hopped on. So I'm going to go like pretty quickly through these and then maybe explain a little. So I thought, what are some shows to watch when you have a short attention span? Like me. So the first one I thought of was Choco Milkshake. Because Korean BL, it's a pretty solid show. It's Strongberry, which we love. And the episodes are only like 10 to 17 minutes long, minus the finale that's like 20 minutes long. Mm-hmm. And it'll just put you in a silly, goofy mood. Like, I think it's very comedic, and that will grab your attention and keep it. So, yeah. And then my other one was My Beautiful Man, because same type of thing. It's short form. The first season was 6 episodes, and the second one was 4. So it doesn't take a lot of time to watch, and there's like no excess fluff or filler to it. I feel like it's very straightforward in everything that happens and everything that's said. So like they just don't like dilly-dally around. So it's easy to get through it. My other secret category I thought of last minute was shows to watch when you want to trigger an existential crisis.
Oh my god. Okay.
So, Love Life on the Line.
Yeah.
The End of the World with You. Old Fashioned Cupcake. And this last one's a personal one for me. Color Rush Season 2.
Color Rush. Oh my god.
Oh my god, not Color Rush Season 2. Oh, I blocked it out of my brain.
Because you'll watch it and you'll be like, what is this world coming to?
What is the world?
Why am I watching this? Why am I
coming
giving
to
this show my time and my effort?
You'll be like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Why am I here?
I love those. Oh my god.
Okay, let me think. Let me think for a moment here.
Or can you think of any, like, instead of like trying to fit them into those categories, can you think of categories that you would fit certain shows into? So like, where would you fit Trapped? Like, when would you watch Trapped? When you want to fantasize about becoming part of the mafia, like falling in love with the like when you know, like people have these mafia fantasies.
When you're in the mood for some propaganda.
Yeah, there you go.
Not me. Oh my god, not me.
There you go.
Yeah.
When you're in the mood for some
when
propaganda.
you want to romanticize the police.
Yeah, when you want to... Trapped. Not me.
It's so funny. Who sits there and is like, you know what? I'm in the mood for some propaganda.
When you want to rebel against authority, The Eclipse. Not me.
Ooh.
I had one that was, because like Kayla was like, oh, we should all come up with some secret categories. I was thinking of what are some shows you watch when you want to cringe, but like in a good way.
Oh.
And I thought of Golden Blood.
Yes! Oh
yes!
my god! Yes!
I advocate for Golden Blood under comedic circumstances.
Exactly.
Me too! I really enjoyed watching Golden Blood. So I watched Golden Blood with a couple of friends online, like from the very beginning, and it was the best show to just watch together and talk shit and then be like, oh my god, they're so cute. And then like you're like, wait, but why the fuck is he flying now? Like
oh, the fighting. The fighting alone puts it on that list.
Oh my god. I would say in that list as well, cringe but in a good way, Secret Crush on You. Because there are some cringy moments in there that you're like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
But it makes sense and it's just all part of the show.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Oh, what are some other categories? I can't get over the propaganda one.
So we need really specific categories.
Yeah. Shows to watch when you just need to have that emotional drain. Shows to watch when you know you need to sob, you need to cry.
Love Mechanics for me.
I was
Make
gonna
Our Days
say,
Count.
Any
me.
series where a ton of bad stuff happens to the main character.
to one character.
Yes.
I'm gonna go movie and say Your Name Engraved Herein.
Oh, yeah.
That also kind of fits
Yeah.
into shows. There's stuff that you watch when you want to have an existential crisis, because that movie
Yeah.
put me through the fucking ringer when I watched it.
No, agreed. Yeah, like I said before, Make Our Days Count. For me, it's one that it actually also falls in my comfort shows, but I didn't want to bring it up at the beginning because it's such a it's such a show that
Heavy
is
hitter.
polarizing. But yeah, it's one that you get so invested, and then it just like literally knocks you over the head with emotion, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I start crying first episode.
Just because you know what's coming.
Oh my god.
But it's one I've rewatched many times because I love it so
Yeah.
much. And it's definitely one to watch when you just want to cry.
Shows that you suffer through just to see your fave. Oh, My Sunshine Night.
I'm sorry, I couldn't. I mean, I did, but looking back on it retrospectively, I shouldn't have.
I tried for Pan and Om Fluke.
That goes under existential crisis.
Ooh. Love Area.
Oh, Love Area.
Oh.
Yeah, especially season 2. Especially season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Season 2 was...
Suffer.
Let me think. Paint with Love.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I love Singto and I love Tae. But the story wasn't storying.
The story wasn't storying. It's going to be my new thing. I say. The story just wasn't storying.
That's our new merch. The story wasn't storying.
You know what?
Oh, Lord.
Well, so there's some other. Oh my god. I need the shows up.
I literally am just like
Right.
scrolling through my drama list just to see like what
Literally.
shows have I watched.
No.
You know that meme that's like it's like a little like it's like this huge block of like text, and then it's like one guy in the corner and he's like fighting through the text, and it's like, what show are you doing this for?
Yes.
It's like, what show are you fighting to the death for?
Yes.
That's me with Vice Versa, because I don't understand why no one talks about that show. And I literally will fight for my life to get more people to watch it, because I genuinely think it's like so good and unique. And like, that's me like trying to convince people to watch Vice Versa.
See, I loved it, but it's not a show I'm going to go back and watch.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved it. Like, yeah. But no, I get it. I don't see people
I just feel like
talking
it
about
flew
it either.
so under the radar, and I did not understand why. Because like, it breaks all the tropes that people were complaining about BL, like with the uni BLs and like.
Sorry. Yep.
You're
Apologies.
gasping. You're gasping.
My
Is like
gasping
you
is-
gasp like something is happening, and I'm like, what? Is there a fire in your apartment? Like, what is going on?
Sorry, that's me just like having a thought.
These are normal thoughts.
Sorry, please keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, it takes it out of uni, like it brings like this unique element of like color theory in. It has a unique plot with the universe traveling and all those elements, and it's just like, that's my show. I will fight to the death to get more people to give Vice Versa a chance. And more people have been watching it because the R Sky eps are coming soon, so
I was going to say, you're going to love when those apps come out.
I'm gonna be living my
Insufferable.
best life. I'm going to be insufferable. I'm going to utilize the podcast accounts to be insufferable. That's what I do all the time.
To watch
anyways.
when you want to be insufferable. Me with Cutie Pie.
Me with my school president.
Me with Itse. I just can't believe no one's fucking seen it. And it hurts me.
Oh, I have one. Shows to
my
watch
God.
when you want eye candy.
Oh man,
Ooh.
anything with cow in it. anything with cow in it. That man,
Ooh,
cow,
lovely
Napa
writer.
cow, he's fucking stunning. Like, I say this, he
Yeah.
wins the face game every single time. And you know what? Lovely Writer is a good show too, so it works. Anyone else?
I'm trying to think.
Right
Because,
now,
like-
I have a crush on Net. So I watch
yeah,
Bed
that's a
Friend.
beautiful man.
I mean, for multiple reasons, but I always stare at him and
Yeah.
always have to comment on how good looking he is and how I would have forgiven him like 10 episodes
For
ago.
anything. Definition
I
of man who could ruin your life, honestly.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I think for me, this falls both in the watch for eye candy and suffer through for your faves. But Big Dragon. Because
Yeah.
because they're hot.
Agreed.
But that
Beautiful,
show, the
beautiful
story
people.
wasn't storying.
The story was
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. I think
Yep.
in general, Never Let Me Go is another one in that category for me because I love
Ooh.
looking at Pond and Poohin, like just looking at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For eye
So.
candy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm scrolling through Viki and I came across My Tooth Your Love, and the only category I could think of was like when you want to get over dentist trauma. Watch My Tooth Your Love.
Shows to help
my
get you over
God.
your dental trauma.
Me with my years
Bishop
long
on the
root
Sky,
canal
too,
that's
don't
half
they?
done.
Oh my god, yes.
Bishop on the Sky and
I
My
didn't
Tooth
even
Your
realize there were
Love.
2 shows in that category.
Stop. That's so funny. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay. Okay. Shows that are worth watching once, but like you don't need to return to them.
Never again.
About Youth.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
I potentially, Pixie 100% disagrees. Not too sure about you guys, but About Youth, worth the watch. The first watch through, sweet, slow but sweet, but you
Now
don't need
your
to return. Soundtrack, return to, but the show itself,
Yeah,
watch and forget.
I said this when we did the review on it. I feel like it was a show I needed at the time that it was on air. But, like, I haven't thought about it since then. So, like, I was fighting for my life in that review. And now I'm just like, yeah, that show happened. It was like, at the time,
very
it was
similar.
like,
I loved the show, but I haven't returned to it.
Yeah.
What else? What others do you think could fit in that category? Like, worth the watch, but you don't need to return.
Maybe that Candy Color Paradox show.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed it, but I don't think enough. I don't think enough to watch it again.
Yeah, I don't
But
think
it
I would
was
go back to
cute
that
for
one.
what it was.
For shows that you would watch once but don't think you need to go back to, I think Together. Like, I say this all the time, like, I think Together was a fine show. I don't understand why people have, like, garnered such a strong hate for it. And, like, all the like, talk about, oh, it's only a bromance. It wasn't just, like, they weren't romantic enough type claims. Like, I don't fall into that category. But I think it's, like, very tied to the time that it aired. And so, like, I wouldn't go back and watch it again now type thing.
Valid. Would Manner of Death fit in our propaganda category?
No, because, what's his name?
Like, they're not cops, but there are cops in it.
Yeah, but Tool's character fucking hates the cops. He hates how
True.
he talks all the time about how incompetent they are.
Actually,
and how,
no,
like,
that's fair.
this stuff would have been solved ages ago if the cops actually did anything.
Fair.
I mean, the cop was fine as fuck with his, like, tight ass shirt that, like, the buttons were bursting off of. So I guess, like, he was kind of like a good guy, so kind of a little bit of propaganda, but, like, Tool's character he was a cab
True.
all day. He fucking hated the cops.
I feel like the category of it's worth the watch but don't return is hard to think of if you don't have shows in front of you, because it's like a watch and forget.
Yeah,
category.
I forget about a lot.
Yeah.
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 Definitely. But the one that I feel deserves a category and a mention, You're My Sky.
Mm.
But what category would you put that in?
I think it would be in the Beauty of Thailand for the same kind of reason that Moonlight Chicken is, where even though it takes place in like a university, you can tell that like that university is older and it's like existed for decades. There's nothing that's like too polished about that or like anywhere else that they go. And that's another one where the cinematography really helps to show just like everyday Thailand, not necessarily like in a bustling city, but even where Suara's character lives. Like his house and all the architecture around there being older in the same sense of Moonlight Chicken. So I think I would put it in that category if we had to put it in one. And maybe Comfort Show, because I love that show.
Mm-hmm. I have a thought for the category of short attention span. You're my Why Destiny.
Oh yeah, Why Destiny is a good one for that.
You
can also kind of
really
like pick and choose which ones you want to watch type thing. Yeah.
2 episodes per couple. Like you can skip through if you wanted to and still get like a gist of story, or just choose 2 episodes out of the entire series if there's like, but I guess that's also watch, maybe not suffer through, but like watch.
I would say shows that are cringe in a good way.
And cringe. It sits in a lot of categories.
Yeah. It's Why Destiny.
It's an overachiever. Overachieving shows. Why Destiny.
Overachieving.
I'm telling you, Copy A Bangkok have it all.
They know what's up. Oh my god. I'll never move on from Perth being a third wheel ghost in the plot.
Oh my god. We need a category that's shows to watch to trigger pixies, and it's just all the ghost shows and about youth.
Yes, all the ghost shows
and Bad Buddy.
Fuck, that's funny.
Just sit down and force Pixie to watch all the ghost videos.
I've run out of categories. I can't think of any other categories, really. Unless it's, like, specific to a show. What other shows? This is fun. Let's make categories.
It's fun. It's fun when they're so specific. We need one for, like, all of the actual medical dramas.
I was about to say getting over your medical trauma, but maybe not. Well, because some of them would potentially increase the trauma.
Shows that characters would absolutely receive ethical violations if they try to practice in real life.
I know this isn't BL, but the warp effect.
Literally every like ethical code violation known to man.
What category would you put together in?
I put it in shows that I think you don't need to go back to again. But to add another category to that, and there's so many shows that could fit into this category. Shows where the guitar wasn't needed.
Tarn type.
Actually, alongside that, no one kill me, please. But like shows where we just need them to shut up and not sing. The latest episode of Our Sky. It's just like, stop singing!
Oh, I haven't watched that yet, but now I'm excited to cringe.
All I think of is that audio that I hear on TikTok all the time of Pond singing Congo.
And every time I sit through it and listen,
so tragic. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah, I just need people to not sing. Just like a little bit. So okay, so like 2 lines I can get behind.
It does like a whole song.
But it's a whole
Yeah,
verse
that's
of a
the thing.
chorus. Like,
It's 3 minutes of a song.
I don't care how in love you are, you do not sing
We don't need to
nose
hear
to
this.
nose at your partner for an entire fucking song.
And My School President is the only exception to that. Also,
Yeah,
I think
because
About Youth
that was
was a
like-
good one that incorporated music in a
Yeah.
way that made sense. But like,
Because that's like a performance. But when you're
exactly, you just like pull out the guitar and you're like, let me like, okay,
Let
I
me
love it
serenade
to
you.
death. Like that. It was like in the last episode of Bad Buddy, where they're like in Pran's bedroom and he just starts like singing the song to him. And I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, we don't need to.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
I love that we're all just like, we just need our BL boys to stop singing.
It's okay.
Please.
You can just.
I'm
you can just
fine
act.
with it because I love cringe.
See, I like cringe to a degree. And I think that's just one that, like, literally my whole body rejects the thought of these people just breaking out in the song.
Romantically serenading.
But, like, it's so awkward. And I love musicals. I wish my life was a musical, right? Like, I've said this time and time again. I wish my life was a musical. I wish people would break out into song. Like, but not like that.
Yeah, it's
Like,
pretty
that's
jarring
not
when
like
it
this.
literally comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, you will have no
Yes.
inclination that this character sang or anything or played the guitar, and then all of a sudden it will happen. That's when it's like,
Yes.
it just doesn't make
And then
sense.
it's the way it's shot too sometimes makes the cringe just even worse. Like a
Should
slow
we
pan.
recreate
And you're like,
one
what
of
is
those
going on?
scenes in Thailand.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. We do.
A cringe
Ooh.
singing scene.
For me, I've got another show recommendation for like shows when you need like a cathartic release. And that's We Best Love, both first and second season.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's a show that like makes you so angry at times, and then you have that release of like you've got that anger and that pent up sadness, complicated feelings, whatever, and then things happen and you just like you're crying or you're like, oh thank God, like I feel like it's a show that really gives you that release.
Any other categories?
I'm trying to think of like a good category to end on. Because we kind of devolved a bit. Now we're literally. What about shows that we just need to leave in the past?
Ooh, I have one for that.
Waterboy.
Was that your
No.
no?
Controversial take, SOTUS. I don't think it needs to be as regarded highly as it is. And I don't know if this is the one we want to end on, but I just think we can move on and crowd other BLs as like the BL you need to go, like one of like, I don't know, it just has like such a historical placement, and I don't get why, because I don't think it's a very good show. And I think we could move on and pick newer BLs as kind of like the ultimate of BL, if that makes sense.
That's fair.
Yeah. I do agree with needing to move on from it, even though I have the respect of like it literally taking GMMTV out of bankruptcy.
Yeah, it has like the historical significance, and I feel like we can respect it for that. But at the same time, like, it's time to move on.
That one for me might also fall under watch once and then not again. Except I have watched it probably like 3 or 4 times, but now I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna revisit it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't hold the same meaning that it used to.
I thought of one category that we can end on. That's not a bit of a downer. Sorry, didn't mean to give that one a downer category. But the category is a show to watch when you want to discover a hidden gem.
Ooh. Oh, that's a good one.
Think about that.
I feel like we already mentioned it in a different category, but for me, I feel like You're My Sky really falls into that category for me. Because I think it's very off-putting for people because like it's marketed as like a sports BL, and it kind of came from a production that isn't super well known, and it had a lot of new actors that also weren't super well known, but like I also went in with zero expectations, and I absolutely consider it a hidden gem. And I think kind of along with the stuff that we mentioned before in terms of like the beauty of the show and the production, it just has a lot to offer as a BL. And I think that was very unexpected for me and a lot of people, I think.
I can't think of one that we haven't said already.
I know.
Like when
I covered everything.
When I think shows like that are hidden gems, the two that I always think of are Ghost Host Ghost House and Cupid's Last Wish. So those are my hidden gems. Maybe Dear Doctor, I'm Coming for Soul.
Yes, I agree with that one. I second that.
Would you say My Only 12% is a hidden gem?
Oh, yeah. How have I not thought of that one yet? That was like my favorite BL of last year. I would absolutely say that My Only 12% really flew under the radar, and I think it has a lot of really, really good acting, character growth, production, and nostalgia factor to offer. So, yes, I would put it in there. All right. Well, on that note, if you can pull out the various categories that we talked about, especially in the second or the last chunk of the episode, feel free to leave some of your picks down below, or give us some kind of wacky categories that you want to see us do suggestions for if you'd like to see another future episode of this, or we can like, I don't know, do something with it on social media or something like that. So if you have any suggestions for fun or goofy categories, drop those down in the comments. And yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the episode with your friends as well. That kind of stuff all really helps out with the algorithm and helps get our episodes out there. And that's all for now. And I guess we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Maybe I have some surprises up my sleeve.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I heard there was a surprise. Okay. We'll leave the surprise ones for last.
It was a secret category that they came up with.